Hello and welcome to the Tech Center. Today's tutorial is how to replace an iPhone 5C's LCD screen. So let's get started. Similar to most iPhone, we need to remove two bottom screws using a Pentalobe 0.8 screwdriver. Now I will show you how to remove the LCD without using too much force. Simply lay the pry tool at the bottom right hand side corner. There should be a tiny gap for the pry tool to go through. As you can see from the video, I apply gently at the bottom right hand side corner. Slowly nudge the LCD away from the frame. Before removing the LCD screen, we need to disconnect the battery so that we won't short circuit the handset. Using a 1.5 Phillips screwdriver, remove two screws from the battery plates before removing the plates. I personally think that Apple has made this deliberate so that it's easier for technicians to replace screen. Now go ahead, use a plastic peg to disconnect the battery. Now that the battery is disconnected, using a Phillips screwdriver, remove 4 screws from the plates before removing the connector away from the motherboard. Unlike the iPhone 5S, there is no home key flex cable. The iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5 home key is connected by 2 contacts from the charging connector to the home key. To remove the LCD flex cable away from the motherboard, I will be using a plastic peg, just so that we don't damage any connector on board. Once you have separated the LCD screen away from the phone, it's time to remove the home key. Undo 2 screws. Now apply the pry tool under the home key flex. Slowly nudge the flex upward, which normally held down with a bit of adhesive. Once the flex is removed, using my little finger, pop the home key out. You shouldn't need any force. Next, we will remove the speaker. To do this, simply remove 2 screws from the speaker plates and lift both the plates and the speaker away from the flex cable. Before we can remove the front camera flex cable and the sensor, we need to remove 6 more screws which attach to the LCD screen. There should be 2 on each side of the frame, and 1 on top and 1 on the bottom of the frame. Now to remove the front camera and sensor, I will be applying the pry tool gently under the cameras. Slowly nudge the camera away from the LCD screen. Once the camera is away from the LCD screen, nudge the mic away from the rubber holder. Now you can separate the metal plates away from the LCD screen. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will be using the same screen to reassemble everything back in its original state, but in the reverse order. First, let's go ahead and by placing the plate back in position before reassemble the front camera flex. Make sure the microphone sits in tightly in the rubber boots. Once you've done that, the camera sensor should fall into the groove. Just remember to take your time, try not to force it in place. Now you can lay the speaker and its plate into the groove on top of the flex cable. Once it's in the groove, it shouldn't move away from the flex cable. Now screw it down. Now attach the 6 screw that holds the plates down before moving on to the home key. I normally tighten the top screw before moving on to the sides. Lastly, the bottom screw just above the home key. Once that is done, we can go ahead and attach the home key. Make sure that the home key is flush before laying the plates down. Remember to put all individual screws in the right places, because some of them are different sizes. To attach the LCD screen back onto the main board, we first need to line up the digitizer flex on top of the connector. Secure the connector using a plastic peg. Apply gentle pressure so that the connector making a clipping sound. Now repeat the same step for the LCD and the speaker connector. Once that is done, simply lay the LCD plates on top and screw it down. Now that is done, there is a couple more steps before completing an iPhone 5C replacement screen. Lastly, attach the battery connector back and place the plates on top, then screw the plates down. Remember, whether you are beginners or professional, if this is your first time, the key is take your time and take care of each component. The more you practice, the better you will get. Now you can clip the LCD plates in place, but first position the LCD in the groove. Gently start clipping the sides and work your way down to the bottom. The LCD screen should fit nicely the way it came out of. Lastly, attach 2 screws at the bottom of the phones and your job is complete. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and find it useful. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to do so. Any suggestion, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys on the next video.